Comparing market makers, course number 4.
Welcome back. In the last video, we built a shared vocabulary for DeFi and concentrated liquidity. Things like AMMs, liquidity pools, bins, TVL, volume, and so on. And in this video, we're going to connect all of that in one big idea: why regular AMMs are often wasting your liquidity, and how HODLMM concentrates that liquidity so it works much harder for you. We'll look at the problem regular AMMs have and then see how HODLMM solves it with price bins, 0% price impact inside a bin, and more control for both traders and LPs. So let's start with the basic AMM model you see in a lot of chains. In a standard AMM model, your liquidity supports almost the entire price curve, from very low prices to very high ones, even though most of that range never sees a single trade. A regular AMM is like watering an entire football field just to grow a few flowers in one corner. You're spending water, your capital, everywhere, even though all the action is happening in one small area. The upside of this old model is simple in that it doesn't require much maintenance. You just deposit and leave it. But the downside is big. Your liquidity is not very efficient, and you often earn fewer fees per dollar of capital. So as an LP, you end up overspreading your liquidity and under-earning on it. And this is where HODLMM comes in. HODLMM stands for High Throughput, Order Book Style, Decentralized Liquidity Market Maker. That's a mouthful, so let's say it more simply. HODLMM is Bitflow's concentrated liquidity engine with order book style precision. It's designed for assets you want to HODL while still putting them to work. So instead of spreading your liquidity from theoretically 0 to infinity, HODLMM lets you focus your capital in specific price ranges, shape your liquidity using different strategy profiles, and benefit from 0% price impact inside a single bin when trades stay within that bin. For traders, HODLMM offers 3 main benefits. 1, 0% price impact inside active bins. As long as a swap happens entirely within a single price bin that has enough liquidity, the trade executes at that bin's fixed price. Inside that bin, your trade does not move the price pool, and it has 0% price impact at that level. 2, deeper, more efficient liquidity. Because LPs can concentrate their liquidity where trading actually happens, you end up with more usable liquidity near the current price, which usually means tighter spreads, better execution, and less hidden costs for traders. And 3, aggregator-friendly routing. Bitflow is a DEX aggregator, so it doesn't just use one pool. It can route trades across multiple pools and DEXs, and it can favor HODLMM pools when they offer the best price and the best execution. So for traders, HODLMM is designed to make trades cheaper, smoother, and more predictable. Now let's look at what that means from the perspective of an LP, which is really what this series is guiding you toward. With HODLMM, liquidity providers get high capital efficiency because you can allocate liquidity within specific price ranges instead of spreading it uselessly across the whole curve. And concentrating your capital means that you can earn more fees per dollar of liquidity and focus on the price area you actually care about. You can also deploy liquidity in ways that match the token's volatility profile, that follow your trend expectations, and fit how active or hands-off you want to be. HODLMM lets you use pre-built strategy shapes like spot, curve, and bid-ask, or even build custom layouts, and we'll talk more about that in the next video. Next, we'll talk about single-sided liquidity. So you're not always forced to deposit both tokens into a pool. HODLMM supports what's called single-sided liquidity deployment, so that you can deposit just one token if you like, and keep more exposure to the assets you want to HODL. Next, we'll talk about dynamic fees. So fees in HODLMM can adjust dynamically based on volatility. In more volatile conditions, the fee tier can increase, which helps compensate LPs for taking on more risk and offset potential impermanent loss over time. Now that we've talked about what HODLMM offers to traders and LPs, let's zoom in on how it actually structures price. So in a regular AMM, price is usually modeled as a smooth curve. In HODLMM, price is broken up into discrete bins, like slices on a price ladder. You can think of it like this. A bin is a container holding liquidity at one specific price point, and each pool has many bins, each at different price points. Together, they form a step-like structure instead of a smooth curve. A price bin can be one of a few states. One, it can hold one token only, or it can be empty, or if it is the active bin, it can hold both tokens. So the active bin is the bin where the current market price is sitting, and also where the swaps are actively happening at that moment. So here's how swaps actually flow through HODLMM. When you trade, the swap first uses liquidity in the active bin, converting one token to the other at that bin's fixed price. If the trade is small enough and all the action stays inside that single bin, you get effectively zero price impact at the pool level. And the entire trade executes at the exact bin price, delivering better prices. If the trade is larger and it uses up all of one token in the active bin, the price moves to the next bin. The swap starts consuming liquidity in that bin as well, and each new bin has its own fixed price. The key idea is that price impact and higher slippage shows up when you cross bins, not when you stay inside one. So HODLMM gives traders a lot of opportunities for precise execution, and it rewards LPs whose liquidity is sitting in the bins where trading is actually happening. Now let's talk about bin steps, which is just the distance between two neighboring bins. Think of bin steps like the spacing of steps on a staircase. When the steps are short and close together, you move through price levels in small, precise increments. When the steps are tall and far apart, every step is a bigger jump in price. So small bin steps give you bins that sit very close together in price, and larger bin steps spread those bins farther apart. Technically, bin steps are set in basis points, and 1 basis point is equal to 0.01%. So as a rule of thumb, 1 basis point is roughly equal to 0.01%, the difference between bins. 10 basis points is 0.10%, and 100 basis points equals 1%. Now let's anchor that with a concrete example. So in this example, BTC over USDC is sitting at 94,000 in the active bin, and the bin step is 10 basis points or 0.10%. With bin 1 at 94,000, bin 2 would be at 94,000 times 1.001, equaling 94,094. Bin 3 would be 94,094 times 1.001, which is 94,188.09, and so on. And each time you multiply by 1.001 to move up one bin, applying that 0.10% step by step over and over to build the price ladder. And to go down a bin, you just divide instead. Pools with smaller bin steps allow more precise liquidity concentration and often pair with lower base fees. Pools with larger bin steps cover wider ranges with fewer bins and are a bit more coarse-grained, which can be fine for certain markets. Next, we'll talk about bin mechanics and distribution. So when you create a position in HODLMM, you're basically choosing the lowest bin and the highest bin in your price range and how your liquidity is distributed across those bins. That distribution depends on the strategy that you select. With spot strategy, your bins are spread out evenly across your whole range. With curve, more of your bins are packed around the current price and fewer sit outside at the edges. And with bid-ask, you load more bins toward the edges of your range, almost like placing buy and sell interest near your preferred entry and exit zones. On top of that, advanced users can design custom bin layouts for very specific views of the market. So instead of one generic shape for everyone, HODLMM lets you shape your liquidity to match your conviction, your volatility tolerance, and how actively you want to manage your positions. Now we'll talk about crossing bins and slippage. So we mentioned this earlier, but it's worth clearly stating again that 0% price impact execution happens when your entire trade stays inside a single bin and with enough liquidity. When a swap size exceeds the liquidity in that bin, the trade will start consuming liquidity in the next bin and possibly several bins after that. And each bin has a slightly different price, and that causes price impact. From a trader's point of view, smaller trades around the market price can enjoy very tight execution inside one bin. Very large trades or trades in thin pools will cross more bins and experience more price impact. From the perspective of an LP, you earn fees in the bins you're in. The closer your bins are to where trading happens, the more fees you can potentially earn. So let's sum this up and bring it all together. Regular AMMs spread liquidity everywhere, like watering an entire field just to grow flowers in a limited area. And HODLMM concentrates liquidity into price bins where trades actually happen, like a precision irrigation system. So for traders, that means tight, predictable execution inside active bins, deeper, more efficient liquidity around the market price, and better routing when Bitflow aggregates across pools. For LPs, that means higher capital efficiency, your money is working where it matters, more control over where you provide liquidity and how it is shaped, and features like single-sided deposits, dynamic fees, and upcoming keeper automation to help manage positions over time. This is how Bitflow's HODLMM turns you into a more precise market maker, even as a humble retail user. And in the next video, we're going to apply all of this. So if that felt a little bit conceptual, don't worry, we'll see it on screen in the actual interface. I'll see you in the next video.
The #1 place to learn, earn, and hodl. The BFF.Army.